Hey guys, gals, and MBs. Today we're going to be making some cinematic pads using the Asm Hydrasynth and the bigsky MX. You might be wondering why I'm going to bring out the bigsky on this, because I don't like the reverbs on the Hydrasynth, and in my opinion, to make truly epic pads, you're going to need a really good reverb. So yeah, we're going to be using an external reverb, and the Hydrasynth I picked because it's a digital synth that can, in my last video I said it can sound very analog, but you can push it into that icy cold digital nature of like a PPG wave and things like that, which is really awesome. And that's going to be a nice contrast because we're going to use some VA waveforms and we're going to use wavetables on top of that. I'll make a similar video in the future with Novation Peak if you want to see that. I'll probably just do it anyway because I love that synth. It's still my favorite synth. This is my favorite purely digital wavetable synth. And my purely favorite hybrid synth is the Novation Peak. But yeah, that said, let me get into it. So we're going to use the init button, which is really cool. We'll make an init patch, and that'll be just a sawtooth wave, one oscillator. And what I like to do first is start with the oscillator wave shapes. So we're going to use two of them, but we're going to start with oscillator 1, and we're going to use a basic VA waveform on this, and I'm going to use the triangle saw. I just love it. It's mellow, and it still has some harmonics in it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, but what's really going to set this apart on this patch is we're going to use a wavetable on our second oscillator, and we're going to scan through the wavetable using an envelope, and that's actually really easy to do on the Hydrasynth because the interface is just so damn good. So we're going to go here to on oscillator 2, I picked that, and we're going to use wave scan mode, and we're going to go edit the wave list, and it's super easy to set an entire series of wavetables in here by holding shift and going to wherever you want to start the program at. You can see that here as I go through it. It's picking everything in that series of waveforms. So I think Horizon's really nice. Let's hear Horizon. Let's go out. Oh, we have to actually turn on oscillator 2. So let's go into the mixer, turn on oscillator 2. I'm like wondering why we're not getting any sounds, but not the best. We'll pick something a little different. I believe this one's Synclav. It's like a play on oscillator sync, and I believe the Synclavier FM/wavetable synth. I think it did a bunch of things, but yeah, I like this one a lot. It's very, and that's gonna take into the Esquire one too, which is really nice. You'll hear that. Hold on. So. Okay, I like that one. We'll use that. And it is super easy to attach this to an envelope. I'm not going to use an LFO because I don't want it to go back and forth. I kind of just want it to go through the wavetable. And then when you release the wavetable, I want it to go back to its home position, basically. So to do that, we're going to use envelope 3. Hold it down here, envelope 3. You see I'm holding it, and then you click here to wave scan. Now, wave scan is set to that envelope. We're going to turn it to around 64, which will be the midpoint because the highest is 128. So let's just use whatever, 64, 65. It's good. All right, and let's go into the envelope, and let's do an attack on that. You'll hear what I mean. You can hear it slowly fade. I think we want it to be a little faster, though. Yeah, we actually want it to kick in pretty long because we're going to have a long decay as well. Let's turn that release. I mean, we're going to have a long attack on the filter envelope as well. You can hear that go and scan. Let's just, we can see it in the waveform too if I just use one note. See how it's fading through that wavetable? Really cool, right? All right. So let's go in and now start shaping our envelope. And then we'll play with mutators, which is so fun, or mutants in this case. All right, envelope 1 by default is your filter envelope. So let's use the filter envelope mainly, but we want to take some of the attack transients off so we don't get a clicky envelope. So envelope 2 is our amp envelope. Let's go back into there, and we're going to put a little bit of attack, just like, I don't know, 44 milliseconds. That's fine. It just rounds the opening to that. Now we're going to go in, make sure filter 1 is selected. We're going to turn the cutoff all the way down, so we won't hear anything. A little bit of bleed will happen through that filter, but yeah, we're going to choose go into filter 1. We're going to choose a compensated ladder filter, so FAT24. All right, cool. And now by default, our envelope for that is envelope 1 for the filter. So let's go ahead. You can do envelope 1 here. That'll be nice. So now we get some sound. All right, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put the attack up to about 6 seconds. Oh, that might be a little too long. Let's do a half that, about 3 seconds. All right, let's have some release there. We're not going to hear the release just yet because we don't have release on envelope 2, which is our amp envelope. Let's do that. Let's add some release. Let's add about, I don't know, 5 seconds is fine. All right. Now, so basically our filter envelope is really shaping the sound. We don't want it to be too harsh at the very top of it. So let's tweak it a little. So here, we're at the top of the envelope. There we go. That sounds good. Crackling there, and that's happening because we're hitting the top of the wave set. It's not clipping yet. Yeah, so that's really nice and gentle. Let's add some drive to the filter. Go into envelope 3 and turn the sustain down a little. So that's so we don't reach too far into the wavetable scanning, just so we make it nice and gentle. Sounds really cool. We can go ahead and go back into our mod matrix and make it scan the wavetable a little further. Let's go ahead and close the filter envelope a little more for the filter envelope, just what I said. All right, let's add some resonance. Ooh, that's clipping. That's not what we want. So let's go ahead and turn down the drive a little. Oof, that's not nice. That's nasty. So the internal clipping can get really nasty because you're brick walling. All right, so let's go into our mixer. Let's go ahead and turn down the oscillators because we still want some drive. There we go. Much nicer. Gorgeous. All right. And we still haven't even played with the mutants yet. So let's start with the mutant for the, we're going to go to mutant 3, which is the mutant for Oscillator 2, the first mutant for Oscillator 2. And we're going to go ahead and choose... not wave stack, but we're going to use PWM squeeze. And this one's really fun. You'll see what it does. Let's turn it up. It's almost like a wave folder, not exactly. Let's turn it all the way up to wet. This one I would like to see that we put an LFO on. So in order to do that, I'm going to use the depth, and we're going to use LFO 1, because why not? I did that wrong. You have to hold the LFO first, and then you have to hold the destination. There we go. There you go. All right. Let's go into LFO 1 and configure it. It's a little too fast, and it's also, it has a sync, a key sync on it. We're going to turn off trigger sync to off, so it's free running. I hope that's what it does, because that's kind of what we want. And then we want to go ahead and turn the rate down. So gorgeous. Once we add some reverb from the big sky over there, this is going to be amazing. All right, we're going to add a mutant oscillator 1 as well, and I am going to use what we call wave stack, which it'll do a supersaw almost kind of thing, but it does it copies the waveform and slightly detunes it from each other. It's really nice. You'll hear it. It's a little too much at the high depth, but we'll turn it to around 75% wet, and then we'll turn the depth down. All right, so let's add what will make this just come completely alive, and that is the Big Sky X over here. We're going to use my Noodle Dragon patch, which has the bloom go into, I believe it's going into cloud. Yes, it is. So here it is. Clipping in there, as you could hear. Let's go ahead and turn the mixer down a little more here. That's fine. And let's turn up the master volume a little bit. Okay, that's gorgeous. Let's go ahead and let me demo this out. I mean, I guess we'll just do something cool. We'll do like a dark, moody thing with it. So let's start with a lower octave, and we'll do this. That's just gorgeous, and I really like it. So, you know what we could do now? We could add some really cool functionality with the poly aftertouch so we can make it a little more expressive, and let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go mod matrix, we're going to assign, and we're going to go to poly aftertouch. It's somewhere in there. There we go, poly aftertouch. Let's go, whoops, one page down. Damn it. Still trying to get my head around that. The mod matrix and by itself, if you don't press two combinations. So poly aftertouch. Okay, cool. So then we go down and we want to choose, let's choose the filter. Filter one cutoff. And let's add about, let's do that. Let's see what that's like. Perfect. That's actually perfect. Maybe a little more. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? We'll do that. Okay, so now, luckily it's saved. All right, so I think to clear it out, you just, do that. Okay, it's cleared out. Now we have mono aftertouch. We want poly aftertouch. There we go. All right, cool. So poly aftertouch is going to filter one cutoff. Awesome. Let's do that. Let's bring in. Yeah, see, I can. Just the response to the aftertouch on this is so nice. You can hear that. Couldn't help myself, had to try it. I'm not a big fan of using that as a pitch bend, but whatever. I don't usually do pitch bends anyway. Yeah, so you get the idea. Sounds absolutely gorgeous. The poly aftertouch is so much fun. Like, I think I brought it up when I first made a video on the Hydrasynth, the keys version here. I generally never liked aftertouch on a synth because it was either too finicky, too hard to use. Like, I'm talking physically hard to use. I'm not talking like obviously mapping it super easy, but I'm talking like with Fatar key beds, you really have to push that damn aftertouch strip. So in a Fatar key bed, you have a big resistive strip that goes across the entire key bed. So that's why it's monophonic. You can't tell exactly. I mean, I guess you could do some mathematics and you could do some interpolation, I guess, to see where the resistance tapers off and things like that. But I digress. It's hard to do poly aftertouch on a resistive touch strip and things like that. So I mean, it's probably possible mathematically, but nobody's done it as far as I know using that method. This has a secondary actual set of contacts with pressure sensitivity per key, and it's very sensitive. You don't have to like really force at it. Even on the highest sensitivity settings, or I should say the most sensitive settings on a Fatar key bed on multiple synths I've had. So like there's at least, I can think of 5 or 6 key beds I've had, and they all behave like this, including like the Take 5 and the Novation ML, whatever it is, the Mark III, and things like that. I'm just saying it's very hard for it to register your aftertouch. On something like this, I mean, even on the most sensitive setting, it's just a dream, like to... Yeah, and you can set the sensitivity obviously too on this, but in its most sensitive form, I absolutely adore it. So yeah, that is just a win for the synth overall. Even if the sound engine isn't the best I've ever heard in my life, it makes up for a lot of its shortcomings with things like the mutants and the poly aftertouch that just feels nice. Even if you were to use this as channel aftertouch, it just feels nice, which is really cool. But yeah, it's a shame that the reverb in this thing is absolutely just, I personally think, unusable. I'll get the person that always wants to fight me over that, but you know, it's subjective. If you like the reverb, go ahead and use it. I hate it. Yeah, so just kind of playing out. It's kind of all I wanted to do in this video. Kind of go over how I make cinematic pads. Oh, messed up there. Oh well, you get the idea. I was going so well there, but whatever. This isn't a demo on, or this isn't a song I'm working on. It's just messing with it, so I don't care. Yeah. So I hope this was at least entertaining to you, if not informative. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Bye.